Hello. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to draw your piecewise function from the contour that you draw. This is the example that we provided for you. So in here, what we're going to do is in Google, search for Geogebra, and we click on here, the calculadora gráfica. So in here, you can input all of your points right here, okay? So in this case, my first point is 0,2, so I write it there. So in here, I have my first point, okay? And like this, I input all of my points of the coordinates that I marked. So in here, I already have input all of mine, so we can work with them. So it will look something like this. Okay, if you see, it resembles perfectly what I did by hand to what we have here in Geogebra. So let's start working with this. How do I turn these points into functions? So Geogebra has some commands, some proprietary functions that is called ajuste. Okay, in English it's called fit. So ajuste, if you see, we have a lot of them: lineal, logarítmica, polinómico, seno. So right now what I'm going to do is polinómico. Why? Because if you see here, for this part, for this start of my function of my bottle, in here I see a quadratic function. Okay, remember that quadratic function is a polynomial function. Okay, so we are going to draw all of my points, but now with functions. Remember that your bottle can be drawn whichever way you want. So I'm going to put polinómico. Polinómico from lista de puntos. So in this case, we have a set of points. So a set is written in curly brackets. So I'm going to write capital A, comma, capital B, capital C, capital D, E, F, and G. Why? Because for me, that is where it forms a quadratic function. Remember that you need to include 5 sections of 3 different types of functions. So in this case, it's an algebraic function. And in here, the next that it says is the degree of the polynomial. So I'm going to write 2 because for me it's a quadratic function. So I can put enter, and what happens is I have a function now that joins all of my dots, all the points that I put the ajuste polinómico on. So if you see, it fits perfectly, right? So that's what I want to see. So what I'm going to do now is to constrain the domain. Why? I don't want it to go all the way to minus infinite and infinite. So I'm going to do a domain constraint. So in here, in entrada, I'm going to write my function again. If you see, in here it gives me the quadratic function. So minus 0.4 x squared. Remember, it needs to be lowercase letters. X squared plus 1.2 x plus 2. Now, how do I constrain the domain? Comma. If you see, this is from 0 to 3. So I'm going to write 0 lower than x, lower than 3. Enter. And we have a function over it. So to see it, I can remove this. And there it is. Okay? So you can get rid of this if you want to. You can keep it there. It doesn't matter. Right? And we're going to do this for the rest of the contour. So another example. So maybe in here we can have a sine function, maybe. So let's see. I'm going to write again ajuste, and I'm going to the last one that is ajuste seno. Again, it asks me for the set of points, so curly bracket, and I'm going to start. So G, H, capital letters, remember? And in there, if you see, it fits the G and the H, yes? It joins them together perfectly. So let's see if it goes all the way. If I add I, there's no graph drawn, that means that it doesn't fit. So I'm going to add J, and it fits a little better, but in here, in this form, I don't like it, okay? So that means that I will add another, and I don't like it because it goes down and then it goes up too much. So I'm going to keep only from G to H, okay? If I enter, and I am going to zoom in so you can see it, it fits perfectly from G to H. So again, what is the difference here? That I have a lot of decimals numbers. I don't want that. It will be harder for the next stage. So I'm going to write 1.2, 1.9, sorry, minus 0.1 sine of 6.3, I'm rounding, x minus 20.4. Okay, remember that I'm going to do my domain constraints, right? So, comma, and this is from 3 to 3.5. So 3 lower than x lower than 3.5. And I can hide the ajuste seno, and I have my second part there. Okay, if you want to see how it looks, you can start hiding the dots so you can see clearly how your contour is formed. Yay! So you continue until you have your 5 sections at least. I hope it helps.